Is there a purpose or isn't there? It's a cosmic question.
Rabbi Manis Friedman, welcome to the Theorist Podcast. Today I want to talk about something obviously important. It's the purpose of life.
Know that.
And yeah. And today, actually, there was a St. Patrick's Day. We're in a co-working building right now, and the office building has a St. Patrick's Day party where everyone goes down. And I was just talking to people, and I had this feeling talking to people there where, and I think most people will relate to it in some way with their coworkers, with people in their life, where I felt like I couldn't be fully myself because of whatever agenda I thought they had and whatever agenda I have. There's a disconnect there, and I had this limited amount of time where I couldn't explain everything, and it felt like such a disconnect for me. You could call it disconnect from self, from purpose, and it to me represented a bigger feeling that I have. I was just like, what are we doing right now? How are we interacting with so many people, living for so many days, months, years, and not fully just saying what's on our mind, doing what we think we should be doing? And I think of all people, you probably have some of the answers to that. But I wanted to go into first if you have any stories or ideas that could give a better example of what the need is. Like, why should most people waking up today be more fearful for what their life looks like if they don't find a deeper purpose or if they just keep living it the way that they are?
So let's examine this whole idea of purpose. Why does life need a purpose? And for all of history, we've been looking for the purpose. Why does it need a purpose? Settle down, enjoy your life. No, can't. What's the purpose? Now, people used to ask it if they were philosophers, philosophical, at least adults having troubles. People with no troubles don't ask the question. Today, even children are asking, why was I born? What's your problem? You got a house full of toys. You get whatever you want. What's your problem? Yeah, but why was I born? Why are you asking that?
Honestly, if it's not if it's meant to be answered, most days I'm happy with where I am. I feel like I'm pushing myself. I have goals, and it does it for me. Almost all day, every day, I'm not thinking about like I need a purpose. The only reason it is for me is because people in my life are sort of pushing that into me and saying you should be looking for purpose. But on most days, I think my regular work day and goals do give me the lack of a sense of purposelessness, I guess.
That would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? Life
Why
is
is that?
good. What's your problem?
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you need a purpose? Eat, drink, and be merry.
I agree.
So what is this obsession with purpose? And again, today it's becoming a serious problem. Kids don't function because they don't get an answer to that question. Why was I born? Don't tell me I have to go to school. Why was I born? Why did you have me? Don't tell me I have to clean up my room. Why'd you have me? And it's not that they're depressed or suicidal. They're asking a good question. How did I get to be responsible for a life I didn't ask for? And if you're talking religion, the question becomes even 10 times stronger. I have to do this. I'm not allowed to do that. I must do, I must serve, I must believe. Really, I didn't ask for any of this. What do you mean I have to? How did I get stuck in this? So there are people suing their parents to pay all their bills for the rest of their lives because you gave birth to me. I didn't ask for this. So why do I have to pay bills? You pay the bills. You got me into this.
How common is it, do you think, to not have that question? Because from what you're saying, it sounds like more and more people are asking about purpose. But if you go outside, are you thinking most people here have a purpose or are looking for purpose? Or are most people just content with what they do?
I think everybody has some sense of it. The more articulate ones can identify it and say, I'm looking for a purpose. The less articulate just feel directionless. Who cares? Whatever. What's the difference? What's the difference? You should do this, you should do that. What's the difference? You live, you die. What? What's the point? What are we getting so sanctimonious about? And they push through. Now, look, in the third world country, people don't have time to think about the purpose because they got to prepare next day's meals. They're into survival. But in affluent lifestyles, okay, so you're comfortable, you have what to eat, you have a house to live in, now what? Get a bigger house, more food to eat. You start to ask questions. So partly due to the affluence of our generation, the question has become more urgent.
Is this specific to this generation at all? Is this something that's been happening for thousands of years?
It's been happening for thousands of years among thinkers, philosophers, students. Now it's become visceral. Kid doesn't want to clean up his room because why?
And what happens if you scale that up? So now someone's 90 years old. Is it first of all possible to live a full life that way, or will it hit you in the face at some point? Or can you just flow through the whole thing?
Ignorance is bliss. Yeah, you can float through it. But, it becomes a crisis when somebody asks you, so what was your life all about? And you got nothing to say. And you realize, I just wasted a life. But the question again is, what do you mean wasted? You live, you eat, you drink, you're happy. What do you want?
And what's the answer?
So who invented this whole notion of purpose? When you say, what is the purpose of life? You're basically saying, life is not justified. Living is not justified. It's got to have a purpose. It's not self-justifying. To just exist. Look, people, at the heart of our emotional well-being, if I feel useless, if I think nobody notices me, and I'm not having any effect, I would become suicidal. Why? I actually had this experience. I was in my 20s, and all of a sudden I'm a rabbi, and people are asking me questions. And this woman comes to me and says, I've got it all planned out. Today, I'm going to kill myself. Because it's all meaningless. It's all meaningless. And she went on about it. I said, everything is meaningless? She says, yeah. I said, so why do you need to kill yourself? Sit quietly, you'll grow old and die eventually. What's the hurry? It's all meaningless. That's when I was saying it a little facetiously, but why do people become so desperate? Yeah, life is meaningless. So what do you want?
I would think it's the pain. There are plenty of moments that I could think of. One that always comes to mind, or two, really, are since we're in New York, there's a lot of train riding. And especially getting from Brooklyn to Manhattan or back to Queens, there are times I've been on a train for 4 hours straight and it's 2 a.m. And I'm just like, what are we doing this for? Like, why have I been on a train, basically doing nothing, maybe sitting on my phone for 4 hours in hopes that this whole thing will turn into maybe a big business, maybe some sort of status somewhere in 15 years, is it really worth it?
What's ambition all about? What's with the ambition? I got to make it. Got to make what? We are driven by the fact that if life doesn't have meaning, we can't stand it. We can't stand existing if I don't have meaning. It's just a human condition. Now, to understand it properly, the Torah says there are minerals, vegetables, animals, and humans. The four kingdoms: the mineral world, the vegetable world, the animal world, and the humans. Minerals are perfectly content to be minerals. You never hear them complaining. Vegetables, plants, trees, they're perfectly content to be trees. Animals are perfectly more than content. They're enthusiastic about life and about being an animal. They love it. There's something about the human being by definition, not by religion or by conviction or by education. The nature of a human being is never content being human. Not that you shouldn't be content. You're not. The human being is born human. If you don't add anything to that, you're born human, you live human, you die human, you're a big failure. Why? What's wrong with being human? The definition of human is not content with what I'm given. I need to accomplish something, which means I need to become more than human. That's where all our anxiety comes from. That's all our unhappiness, our misery, our doubts, our what? For what? Not only when things are bad, even when things are good. So what have I accomplished? Why do you have to accomplish? Who's driving you? Who's challenging you? Haven't done anything all day. Great day. I would love to have some more of those days where you do absolutely nothing. But it goes against the nature of the human being. By nature, we need to be something more than human because we were given humanity. What have I added? What have I accomplished? That's the nature of a human being. We call that purpose-driven. It's not enough to be what you're given. You have to contribute something. In religious language, you have to partner with God in creation. If you're not a partner, what are you? Spectator? Couch potato? What are you? Now, modern psychology does not recognize this.
And what's your response? I would assume the basis for their lack of recognition is the lack of physical evidence for anything around purpose. Where do you get your conviction and authority to be able to talk about purpose?
Let's finish the definition of purpose. What is my purpose? Let me think about it. I'll come up with something. No, you won't. When you say my purpose, it's a little misleading. If your life has a purpose, by definition, the purpose comes before the life. If there was no purpose in your being born, then there is no purpose to your life. You can't make one up when you hit a midlife crisis. So either your life has a purpose or it doesn't, which is the best proof that there's a God. In other words, were you created for a purpose? Well, then the purpose drives you. If you weren't created for a purpose, but what are you making up stuff? There is no purpose. Relax. But it is the deepest feature in human nature that we need to become something more. I think that is the best proof that there's a God. So when I say my purpose, I don't mean a purpose I make up. What was God's purpose in creating me? You don't believe in God? Well, too bad. Whatever created you had a purpose or not. Whatever caused you to be born, besides your mother, is there a purpose or isn't there? It's a cosmic question, but it affects people very intimately. So that sense of purpose means I came into this world for a reason and I don't know what it is. That's painful. It's like trying to remember a song and it's on the tip of my tongue and I can't. Or I know I have an appointment, I don't know with whom. It drives you crazy. I'm supposed to be somewhere, but I don't remember where. Or I never
And it's
knew.
almost because it's attached to worth. I have potential for this massive worth. And right now I'm not there and I don't know how to get there. And I'm missing out on all of that. Which,
so here's
relative to that, it's worthless.
Here's where it becomes pathological. I'm not aware of a creator. I'm not aware of God. I'm not aware of his purpose. So what am I left with? I start to feel needy. I need something. I need something. I don't know what it is. So I start theorizing about it. I need more wealth. I need more friends. I need more security. I need more fame. I just keep building on the needs. I need. And it's not even true. I don't need. When you get right down to it, all the people are saying, why was I born? Means I don't need this. And that is so true. It's a scary thought, but my life, I don't need it. I never needed it. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. But do I need it? I don't need this. So when we get needy, we start to go down because neediness is depressing. Here's what is true about God that religion won't tell you. You don't need his help. He needs your help. If he created you for a purpose, what does that mean? You didn't ask him for that purpose. He creates you for a purpose. Means he needs you.
Maybe. Or a parent having a child doesn't mean they need a child. Maybe they do it out of kindness because they're grateful for their life. And now they know if they have another child, they'll be grateful for their life.
Right. So the motivation is within them. It's not like I came and begged to be born. Something in them moved them to produce more life. So that is the ultimate need. Something in you. So when God created us, we didn't ask, we didn't beg, we didn't even agree. The soul is told to be born and it doesn't like the idea because we don't need this. So when we say purpose, you mean God's purpose. If it's his purpose, then it's his need. What is my need? I don't need anything. It took us 5,000 years to figure this out. For all of history, everything we did, human beings, everything we did came from need. And what was the need? To not die. It took 5,000 years, but we woke up about 10 years ago and we said, excuse me, I have to live so that I don't die? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I'm running a circle. I'm chasing my tail. You got to live. Why? Because if you don't live, then you won't be alive. I said, so what? So what? A really scary thought. If tomorrow the whole world just ends, just all fades to black, would it be a tragedy?
To me, it happens every night. It's not a tragedy.
If all life disappeared, would it be a tragedy?
I don't think so.
To whom?
Yeah.
If I stopped existing, would I complain? Would I suffer? You only suffer if you exist. If everything stops existing, what's wrong? So would it be a tragedy? Only to the Creator. To him, it would be a tragedy. To us, easy come, easy go. So what is life all about? So the first healthy realization is, it's not about me. If I could get comfortable with that idea, I will never need therapy. It's not about me. Why am I here? Don't ask me. Ask my Creator. So there's a story in the Gemara, in the Talmud. One of the sages was riding along on his donkey, and he saw a man on the side of the road who was exceedingly ugly. This is Rabbi Lozer, I think it was. Rabbi Lozer stops and says, "How did you get so ugly?" And the man said, "Complain to my Creator. Tell him that he created something ugly." The sage apologized. And they became good friends. The question is, how does a sage do something like that? What is calling the guy ugly? The sage, with a pure soul and a pure heart and mind, never saw ugliness. When he noticed the ugliness of this person, he was shocked. He never saw ugliness. Because holy people don't see ugly, they see holy. And he realized the only reason I have been shown this ugliness is because it's my job to fix it. So he analyzed the ugliness, and he decided that it's coming from arrogance. Self-made man. I don't need anyone. I don't depend on anyone. So he thought quickly, how do I fix this? Being a genius, he came up with this. You're a self-made man. Why did you make yourself so ugly? So, of course, the guy had to recognize that he's not a self-made man, that he has a maker, a designer. And he said, whoa, are you saying God made a mistake and produced an ugly? Tell God, what you made is very ugly. Anytime we find something wrong in ourselves, it's coming from someplace else. My friends, my parents, traumas, whatever. I'm never bad. So if you see something wrong with me, hey, complain to my maker. I didn't do this to myself. Why doesn't that apply to everything? If I say you're ugly, you're going to say, oh, complain to God. If I say you're smart, that has nothing to do with God. Oh, no, that's me. I'll take credit for that. No, you were created that way. So if we responded to everything about ourselves at, hey, talk to my Creator. we would never need therapy.
What would we be doing everything for?
Good question. A good question. But we've come to the realization, living life, going to school, going to work, getting a job, paying bills. Why? Because otherwise you'll die. It doesn't work anymore. It's not motivation. It's not motivating us anymore. And then what? Then I'll be dead. So, and again, this is not despair or depression. It's a very good question. I have to work all my life, and then in the end I die. What's the point? Oh, you leave something for your children. What's the point of having children? Nothing makes any sense. There's never a bottom line where the buck stops.
What about, it's about the journey, not the climb?
See? You got to come to that conclusion because there is no conclusion.
But why is that not enough? So you have a good time doing it. You get to play some sports, you get to make some money, and then it's over. And you got to have fun along the way.
You would think that that should be satisfying. It's never. There's more depression in affluent countries than in third world countries. So really, all of our problems come from the belief that we have a problem.
How do you see it manifesting, usually? What are signs that someone isn't guided by purpose? And also, can you accidentally be doing everything right, even though you don't have a purpose?
Well, if you're not guided by purpose, then your alternative is to think of your life as a bunch of needs. I have to go to school. I have to get a job. I have to. You realize I don't have to. It's not true. In fact, having those needs is itself depressing. I'm born into the world, and all of a sudden I have needs. You have to go to school. Why? And the only answer we've ever had was, because if you don't, you'll die. Now we're saying, and what is your point? Having needs is unnatural, so it makes us depressed. So you go for therapy because your needs are killing you. The therapist will let you know that you have more needs than you know. Deeper, bigger, scarier needs than you ever thought. Well, thank you very much. You go to religion for a little relief. You discover that you're going to have needs even after you die. Well, thank you very much. What is this? Feeling needy is the beginning of all depression.
Is there a world where you can wake up and not feel needy?
Yeah.
So yourself or even people you know, you can say, I wake up or they wake up and don't need anything.
Mm-hmm. Because that's the truth. I didn't need to be born. I certainly don't need a job. The only problem is, without a job, I'll die. Okay. I didn't ask to be born.
I see why it would take away the pain. Where you can, if there's an argument with someone, it doesn't really matter so much because what's the need anyway?
No, I don't need to be right.
But when does anything go to the positive direction? How's anything amazing?
So here's where God becomes essential. If I don't need anything, and yet I'm here, if I didn't need to be born and yet I'm here, who did need me to be born? There's purpose. That's your definition of purpose. So the reason we look for a purpose is because our own needs are not valid. So if I need a job, it's because God created such a world in which if you don't have money and you can't buy food, you'll die. Is that my problem? Is this my need? Or I was created in such a way, like I can't go without food. I wish I could, but I can't. So it's my need to eat. I had no say in the matter. Nobody consulted with me about it. If they had, I would have said, no, I don't want to be dependent on food. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. I can't live unless I eat some grass. It humbles you. So here's the punchline. I'm not needy. I am needed. So what wakes me up in the morning? I'm needed.
So what would happen if you if you quit, if you decided not to do it anymore? What would happen to the world?
Who would care?
I think the world would continue spinning. That's for sure.
Yeah. Idealistic people accept the challenge of tikkun olam. Everybody's into tikkun olam. Clean up the environment, fix the problems. We all want to make the world better. Whose world are you making better? So the really good news is people who work at a very boring job on some assembly line, and they're miserable because it's deadening. If you're working at any job, whatever it may be, but it produces something useful, like a mousetrap or a toothbrush, you are serving God. You've made God's creation a little better. And you're doing it most of the day. Actually, most people in the world serve God most of the day. And they're miserable because they don't know it. So imagine, you go to this job most of your day for most of your life, and it is boring, and all you get from it is a couple of dollars so that you don't die. This doesn't make sense. Compare that to, I didn't ask for life. I don't need to be born. I don't need to be alive. But I can do something for God, and I'm doing it all day.
But just on paper, it sounds... So I'm going to wake up, and my purpose in life is to, let's say right now, making podcasts. Is that so much better than the alternative, like, it's not making any difference, but it's fun? In the existence of the universe, my purpose is to make podcasts. That doesn't really get me going.
Your purpose is to improve the world. What ways have you found to improve the world?
But it's such a small improvement. That would happen either way.
I'm a small person. And if you can improve the world on a bigger scale, then why aren't you?
Either way, it's not going to be a huge improvement. No matter how big this gets. The greatest people in history are just making a dent.
And all of us together, with our little dents, can make the world perfect.
Which means, what does a perfect world look like? And why should I care?
Well, you should care because that's why you're here. if tomorrow morning 8 billion people wake up thinking, what can I do to make the world better? What kind of world would we have?
I don't know. An interesting one.
There certainly wouldn't be wars. There wouldn't be crime. There wouldn't be hatred. There probably wouldn't be illness.
So on that, if right now there's the whole war in the Middle East with the US, those people waking up from the outside, it seems like they're waking up and saying, how do we make a better world? And their solution is we go murder some people. Are they wrong? If they believe that's what they're supposed to be doing?
That's a good question.
And then on a micro scale, for all of us, we're doing plenty of things with good intentions, I think. And they end up terribly.
We need to fine tune our goodness. We have to be really careful about it. But what is the definition of murder? If you kill somebody who is not threatening you, it's murder. If you kill somebody who's threatening you, it's self-defense or justice. We go to extremes. We go from no ideology at all to super ideology. What does God expect? What does he need from me? To let myself be killed? No. He doesn't. So how do you make the world better? If that's what drives us, we would have a really, really good world. And God will be happy with his creation. So basically what I'm trying to say in a long way around, belief in God has nothing to do with religion. God is an essential ingredient in reality, because reality demands purpose.
I'm still missing okay, so we end up in this utopian world. But now what? Why is that the purpose of all existence is worth getting to that golden age?
It's his purpose.
That seems so pointless. Like all of this is so God can have this perfect era of Earth.
He's the creator, right? He should get the earth he wants.
But why is that the final destination? Then what? Why is that worth?
Because he created the whole thing. But why is that the destination? Why do we exist in the first place? Because he created us for this reason. Like the bottom line is, what is a really perfect world? A world in which our relationship with God is intimate. That's all he wants. He created the world to have a relationship, because without the world, there's just him. In fact, God actually said, it is not good to be alone.
I thought that was in reference to getting married.
Yes. So our relationship with him is kind of a marriage.
But it was in reference to marriage with God.
Yeah. God was saying, it is not good to be alone, which is why I'm creating you, because I don't like being alone. And I'm putting that instinct into you as well.
And does that go into only men or women also?
Women for sure. Women don't have to be told. So when God says it is not good for man to be alone, he really is describing himself. and then putting that part of himself into human nature, which is why he said it. He didn't have to say it. I'm going to create a woman, okay? Because I think you're not good alone. But why did he have to say it? God, everything God created, he created by saying. He said, let there be light, and there was light. He said it's not good to be alone. Well, that's why we can't stand being alone. Once we're on that subject, it's not good to be alone? Then why does everybody want to be left alone?
I love being alone.
Right?
Put me in a crowd and I'm like, get me out of here.
Yeah. For about a week. And then it's no good to be alone. So what is it? Do we have a love-hate relationship with others? Billy Joel has a song, Piano Man. Brilliant line in the song. They're sharing a drink they call loneliness, but it's better than drinking alone. Loneliness is an issue. Two lonely people get together. They're not lonely. They go home and they realize, I'm not just lonely, I'm alone. And you can't share that. But what is so terrible with being alone?
I would think it's the lack of affirmation of worth.
And that's not an imaginary thing. It's true. What is your worth if it's just you?
If you're alone on a desert island, or in general, if you're living in today's society, just not married, are we considering that alone? So then you can make an impact without being married.
Yeah. Have a relationship with God. Can't be alone. So this is amazing. The most divine thing about God is not that he's infinite and all-powerful. The most divine thing about God is that he doesn't want to be alone. That is so amazing. You're infinite, you're eternal, you're all-powerful, all-knowing, almighty, and you don't want, and with us, you're better off. That is unbelievable. That is so divine. I'm not enough. But you're infinite and perfect. Yeah, but it's just me. So what's wrong with that? I don't know. It's a divine phenomenon.
So what's that supposed to look like? Because I forgot what the divorce rate is right now. But with everyone acting on that, I don't know about the status of the marriage before the divorce, but it seems like by the end of it, it was pretty clear that we're better off alone than together.
Or there's another way of putting it. Most marriages end because they both feel that they're still alone. We're living side by side, but we're still alone. You're not really there for me, which means I'm alone.
And why should it fix it?
Why should it? You mean, how could it?
Yeah.
The definition of intimacy is that we become one. Then you're not alone. I was just talking to a woman whose husband passed away, and she says, I'm so miserable. I miss him so badly. I feel so alone. I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. You miss him badly. You're not alone. There is somebody in your life. You're not alone. He died? Yeah. He's still in your life. You're still not alone. Alone would mean I don't have anybody that I miss. Now I'm really alone. So the reason marriages are falling apart is because we're so materialistic, even about marriage, that we don't really marry each other. We marry the stuff we like about each other. A husband says to me, I love everything about my wife. I said, really? She wants a divorce. What's going on? You love everything about your wife? He says, yeah. I said, do you love her? He says, everything about her. I said, do you love her? He says, what does that mean? He doesn't even know what that means.
What does that mean?
That you love her, not the goodies that you get from her. If a man would say to a woman, I want to marry you for your money, that'd be such a bad deal. She has money. He loves money. He wants to marry her for the money. Offensive?
Probably.
Yeah. Because when I say I want to marry you for your money, what I'm saying, not very well disguised, can you just give me the money? I don't want to marry you. I just want the money. But I know you're not going to give me the money unless I marry you. So, okay, I'll marry you. It's so insulting.
How did we end up with the solution to loneliness and being alone is marry one person?
Because if you can't merge with one person, you will always be alone.
Well, even in the same spectrum, there's heterosexual, homosexual, and then there's also monogamy, polygamy. So how do we end up with one heterosexual relationship? Why is that the obvious solution?
It's God's invention. Only God could come up with such a plan that a man should marry a woman. That is so weird. But he designed it that way.
What about the relationship works so well?
What works is men and women are so different. They don't need the same thing. And because we don't need the same thing, we won't constantly be fighting over the same thing. People say, we really should be able to get along because after all, we have the same needs. So what did you just say? We have the same needs, that's why we should get along? That's why we don't get along. We both need that same dollar bill. Now, who's going to get it? Now, if I don't need a dollar and you do, we can get along. So you marry someone who is completely different from you and you don't need the same things. That you can have peace in the house. But if you start tripping over each other, so this modern theory that men and women are not different from each other, we all want the same things, it's so ridiculous. It's so not true to nature. We need different things. A man wants to give, a woman wants to receive. A catcher and a pitcher. They don't compete with each other. He wants to pitch, he wants to catch.
And there are no
It's
exceptions.
a battery.
No exceptions.
What do you mean?
Meaning some men could be more feminine. Some women can be more masculine.
Yeah. You can be more feminine in your giving. You can be more masculine in your receiving. But you want to receive, even biologically. The man gives, the woman receives, and the result is a baby. But if the woman wanted to give and the man wanted to give, there'd never be a baby. Or if they both wanted to receive, there'd never be anything. They'd say, you first, no, you first, you first. No. Nothing would ever happen. So it's a perfect arrangement that men thrive on giving, women thrive on receiving. You just have to find the woman who's willing to receive what you're giving.
What do you think the fatal flaws is probably an extreme way of putting it, but in men, what are the worst shortcomings that men typically have?
When you get lazy and you want to receive. See, that's why pornography is so destructive for men. A man's sexual pleasure comes from giving. Watching pornography, you're passive and it's entertaining you. You forget how to give. You expect sex to be given to you. You stop being a man. Your wife hates you. Well, let's apply this to religion. If a man says to a woman, I want to marry you for your money, it's an outright insult. I don't want you, I just want your money. If I have to marry you to get the money, okay, I'll marry you. If I want to get to heaven, which most religions make the central point of all religion, get to heaven. I want to get to heaven. Can I just go without worshiping and believing and practicing? No? Fine, I believe in you. I love you. I think you're great. Can I go to heaven now? It's so insulting to God. You don't really want God. You want to get to heaven. You can't get to heaven without him. He is your ticket to heaven. That is not intimate. It's not personal. It's not even respectful.
And what about the opposite with women? If they marry a man for money?
Same thing.
But that's their nature, if they're receiving.
No, they want to receive you, not your money. And when you give, it's not you're giving money, you're giving yourself. Yin and yang. But you can imagine, religion is all about something you get from God. You got to stop it.
The idea of heaven to me, even like the same thing with the utopian world that we're all building towards. It seems too far away to even have that whole equation of I'm going to use God to get to heaven.
Yeah, it seems fanciful because, oh, you really want to get to heaven? Yeah. You know anything about heaven? No. What? It's a fantasy. How do you know heaven is great? How do you know you're going to like it there? Like, what do you do in heaven? So what are you getting so excited about? It doesn't. It's a fantasy. Not that it isn't real, but you're not real. Yeah, when you die, you go to heaven. So, what does it mean to you? Nothing. You have no idea what heaven is. Oh, I don't want to go to hell. You have any idea what hell is? No, it's just bad, bad. It's intimidation. It's bribery. You don't need this. You are created to serve God and partner with him in creation. Why does he have to pay you for that? Why does he have to threaten you to get you to partner with him? Now, if you're partnering with him, then getting to heaven can't be your goal. God creates you on earth so that he can get you into heaven. What in the world is this plan? And also, getting you to heaven Nothing changes for him. God's plan is to become God on earth. So God wants us to bring heaven down to earth, but we want to go to heaven. We're gonna miss each other. God is coming down, we're going up. We're going to get to heaven, and he's not there. So the ultimate plan of utopia is the lowest world, the physical world, if we do it right, can be much godlier than heaven, and God wants to be here, not there.
Can we make our own lives heaven while we're here? And what does that look like?
You wake up in the morning and you don't feel pressured, you don't feel tortured by needs and doubts and me and how am I doing and what. You wake up in the morning and you say, thank you for creating me and giving me another day. What can I do for you?
And then you just do that every day.
And every day the world gets better.
But you have so much faith that eventually it ends up so perfect when
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like we're on that trajectory.
If you look closely, I think we are. There's a lot of good happening. I'll give you a quick example. All of a sudden, and I don't know exactly when this turned or shifted, celebrityhood is gone. Nobody cares about celebrities anymore. I don't know how that happened or when it happened.
What makes you say that?
Nobody listens to celebrities. They don't want to hear from them. What has become popular that replaced celebrities is you. Influencers. That is such an improvement.
What's the difference?
The difference is celebrities have nothing to say. People suddenly want to hear something. They want to hear something intelligent, inspiring. Celebrities? Blech. What are they wearing to the Oscars? I mean, stop it. Who did this? I don't know. Are we maturing in some way? Yes.
What about screen time and all the time spent on Instagram on entertainment, on TikTok on entertainment?
It's good for a diversion. It's not respected or admired or even desirable. I don't want to become a celebrity anymore.
But you wouldn't see that as a marker of degeneration if we're saying people used to be doing things that were more productive and now more and more time is being spent on entertainment.
No, less time is being spent. Influencers now take up more time in people's lives. See, the problem is some influencers become celebrities, and that's a disaster. Like Candace Owen. She was a good influencer, and she became a celebrity.
Meaning she went to...
Sensationalism.
I would say she just became a better entertainer.
Exactly.
And you're saying at the beginning she wasn't an entertainer.
Right. She was a sincere influencer. But she got the bug.
I've seen a lot of your reels and general media is around parenting, is around marriage, the afterlife. I want to go a little into parenting. I'm 23, so maybe kids at some point soon. What advice would you give? Stuff that I could understand now without any physical way to actually experience it.
The one thing we should be expecting or demanding of our children that we don't is purpose. Every child knows that there's no purpose in being a child, but there will be a purpose when you grow up. That is a terrible message. How do you go from meaningless to meaningful? You started off meaningless, you're going to stay meaningless. Basically, what I'm saying is children today are way smarter than we used to be. When you say to a child, and this is very common, can't you just sit quietly and be a good boy? What did you just say to your child? Sit quietly means you're a good boy? Sit quietly means you're a good dog. Don't ever say to a kid, goodness consists of being quiet. That's it? It's as good as it gets? It's insulting. Do something good, you'll be a good boy. Sit quietly? That's not human. You're treating your kid like an animal.
Is there an underlying belief in there, or it's really just a misguided action? Is it a belief that whatever you're doing is more important than what the child is doing? So it's worth them waiting so you can get your thing done? Or it's really just getting caught up in the moment and not thinking about it?
For the child?
For the adult, why is it happening usually?
Why is what happening?
Why are they telling the kid to be quiet?
Because they're annoyed. This is not educating your child. This is shutting him up. Even a child needs a purpose. And the earlier in life that you can introduce that idea, the healthier the child is going to be. A child needs to be needed more than he needs to be loved. The child who feels unneeded, love is not going to make up for it. I mean, can you imagine a parent saying, we don't need you, but when you're cute, we love you, so we'll keep you. That's
What's the overall goal that you would have as a parent for a kid?
the overall goal in educating children and raising children is to raise them away from being needy to becoming needed. Because when children are born, all they are is one big need. Give me, give me, give me. It's mine. I was here first. Don't touch me. Raising a child means replacing neediness with neededness.
Why isn't it better to just have an impact and not be needed? In a business setting, as an example, if you're needed, you're basically a bottleneck. And you're stopping things from getting done because it's all coming back to you. So
If you're needy.
Even if you're needed, it would be better to figure out what the need is and put someone else in it or automate it.
That's what you're needed for.
And now you're not there anymore.
Right. You're needed to delegate. The job got to get done. Whether you do it with your own hands or you hire a bunch of people or you delegate, you get it done. But it's not your need. This is not our world. Earth doesn't belong to us, which is good news. I don't have to lose sleep over it. But I am here to help God make this world perfect. So I get to be part of the action, none of the stress.
So you live a totally stress-free life.
I try.
Are you never in situations that would typically cause stress?
Oh, yeah.
Or it's even in the same situations, you're not feeling it?
Yeah, the same situation, but you know that there's a plan, there's a reason, and there's something you can do to make it better. But it's not like, but I don't need this. I ask a guy to put on tefillin, right? He says, I don't need this. I said, exactly. That's the beauty of it. You're only going to do what you need? This is what you're needed for. If it was your need, I'd just leave it to you. I'm not going to ask you to do what you need. I'm asking you to do what is needed.
If it's going to happen either way,
What's going to happen?
Wherever the world needs to end up, because there are 7.999 billion people whose lives need to continue. If you don't do whatever you're supposed to do, someone else is going to do it.
Right.
So what difference are you making?
Well, that's actually what Mordecai said to Esther. Go to the king. She said, I could get killed. He says, take the risk. Not that you're going to save the people, because the people are going to be saved one way or the other. But if this is your mission, don't fail. God will always find someone or find other ways, but he created you for this. Don't fail your own mission. Right? That's what he said to her. Who knows whether you became queen for this purpose? So yeah, the world is going to end up the way God wants it anyway. But are you partnering or are you resisting?
So if it's going to happen either way, and you go and live on a beach somewhere, and you didn't partner, now what?
You're going to be very embarrassed. It happened without me.
So you just didn't get to take credit for it.
That's right.
But
the nature of a human being is, I need to know that I accomplished something.
But isn't that so just, it's not true. You didn't accomplish anything if it was the same outcome that was going to happen anyway.
Yeah, but you made it happen.
And that's the purpose?
Yes.
The purpose is to do something that was going to happen either way.
Oh, it's like saying, why should a wife enjoy being married to her husband? He could marry somebody else. That doesn't work for me.
It feels like it's serving, well, we want to enjoy this, so let's both pretend that that we are the only people who could be having this conversation, that we are the only people who could be married. And then we'll be so much happier.
Yeah.
Than to think that all those other people out there are just as compatible. But if it's not true, it's not true.
It's not true that a man can marry more than one woman. It's true. But he doesn't want more. He wants you. That's the definition of intimacy. Intimacy means I'm not good alone. I'm capable alone. But what good is there in being alone? So that feeling that I don't want to be alone is the most divine part of the human being. That's what we have in common with God. So no matter how capable you are, God was also capable, and yet he doesn't want to be alone. So no matter how capable you are of being alone, you can't stand it because there's nothing good about it. How do you become not alone? When you're thoroughly attached to another. An other means someone with their own opinion, not a clone of you. You marry your clone, you're still alone. And that's why angels don't solve the problem for God. He created angels, he was still alone. What about the angels? They're just more of him because they don't have free choice. Created human beings who have free choice. Now there's someone. And if that someone responds to you, to God, they can have an intimate relationship. Because he doesn't need anything from us, and we don't need anything from him. So if we marry each other, not things about each other, which is basically pornography.
Can we wrap with your new book, right? Yeah.
I feel like
that was probably the cue to wrap.
Huh?
When did this come out?
It was just printed. It's not out yet.
It's not even out yet. When is it coming out? Thursday?
It'll be in stores on Thursday.
Okay, so you have this new book, Divinely Vulnerable. What need is it addressing? Why should people read it?
Well, it's describing this true insight that vulnerability is actually a strength, not a weakness. What is true vulnerability? I can't parallel park, so I need somebody to help me. I can't fry an egg, I need somebody to help me. I'm being vulnerable. No. Vulnerable doesn't mean I can be hurt. Vulnerable means I'm not enough without you. There's no hurt involved, but I'm not enough.
There's a whole brand of vulnerability that I've seen online with influencers. It's a really popular tactic to get people to become more likable. You just show more weakness. But in a way, it's become this twisted way to say, look how great I am that I can show you my weakness. And it works really well, but it's
manipulation.
It's manipulation.
Yeah. So real vulnerability starts with God. When God says, I don't want to be alone, that is the ultimate vulnerability. And he put that in us, created us in his image. We also have that. And that is the most divine part of us. Of all human features, the fact that we don't accept being alone, that's because we're like him.
And that can apply to strangers on the street also, or is this only personal life?
In some way, in some little way, it can apply to everybody for the moment. But the real intimate relationship, lifelong, monogamous, just you to the exclusion of everybody else, that's real oneness. So a married couple, their goal, their purpose, is to become one, not to love each other. Love is from a distance. Love means there's me, there's you, and I'm reaching out to you. That's the first 20 years of marriage. Slowly, you morph. You were the love of my life. Now you're becoming the pleasure of my life. Now we're inseparable. After 50, 60 years of marriage, you can't live without each other because you've become one. Now, what is the other? This is crucial. What does it mean, have an other in your life? Other, the opposite sex. Which one is the opposite sex? What does opposite mean? The one thing that is hard to tolerate in a spouse is that they have their own personality. I love you when you love me. The rest of you, I'm not interested in. So we marry for love, and then we discover that the person you love has an opinion. You don't want their opinion. You just want their love. So as soon as you discover that they have a personality, you're out of there. Marrying someone else means someone who is different, who has their own opinion, their own needs, their own shtick, and that you don't love. Well, then you're alone. Marrying her and not something about her means marrying her being not you. Do you love the fact that she's not you? Do you love the fact that she has her own opinion? You love the fact that she has needs you never even heard of. If you don't love that, you don't love her.
That was good. Thank you for this. I learned a ton. And everyone, where is it? Where can people find the book?
In better bookstores. not in the worst bookstores. Only in the better bookstores.
Only in the better ones.
Amazon.
Amazon, Divinely Vulnerable by Rabbi Manis Friedman. Thank you.